What if the person you think you are is just a habit, a story told by your nervous system, shaped by repetition and reinforced by unconscious breath? What if you've never truly met your real self, not because it's far away, but because it's hidden beneath layers of old energy, expired emotions, and forgotten frequency? In this video, you're about to discover a breath trick so simple, so ancient, and so powerful. It can dissolve the identity you've unknowingly been trapped in, not through force, not through effort, but through presence, through vibration, through the subtle art of conscious breath. This isn't breathwork for relaxation. This is breath as quantum surgery, a way to erase subconscious patterns, collapse the past, and attune to the frequency of your future self. It's time to stop performing the old you and start breathing into who you truly are, because when you master your breath, you reclaim your reality. From the moment we're born, we begin collecting identities, labels, roles, memories, and patterns, layer upon layer, constructing a version of self we come to believe is real. But here's the truth, that you is not fixed. It's a holographic echo of past experiences, beliefs, and subconscious programming. It's not your essence, it's your conditioning. Like old software running in the background, the old self is simply a response loop shaped by childhood impressions, societal norms, and emotional wounds. Most people never question this loop. They live their entire lives reenacting the same emotional scripts, defending the same limitations, and unconsciously reaffirming their identity. I'm anxious. I'm not good at relationships. I'm just not creative. These aren't truths. They're energetic signatures repeated so often they've calcified into a false reality. And unless we interrupt the loop, we keep reliving the same timeline under different disguises. To truly transform, we have to start by confronting this illusion. You are not your habits, your traumas, or your name. You are the field of consciousness observing it all, the one who can rescript, rewire, and reawaken. And the portal to that power is far closer than we think. It's hidden in something as simple and sacred as your breath. Breath is the key because it bypasses the surface mind and goes straight into the body's energetic architecture. When you breathe with intention, you send a signal through your nervous system that says, "We're safe now. We can release this." And suddenly, old identities built on fear, survival, and unconscious belief begin to dissolve, not through willpower, but through vibrational truth. This is where real transformation begins, not by becoming something else, but by letting go of what you never were. And it starts the moment you ask, what part of me is breathing right now, and who would I be if I let this breath rewrite the story? The subconscious mind is the architect behind 95% of our behavior. It holds the emotional imprints, limiting beliefs, and vibrational set points that shape our daily experiences. But here's what's often missed. The subconscious doesn't speak in words, it speaks in sensations, energy, and rhythm. And breath is its native language. Every inhale and exhale sends data to the nervous system, telling it whether to stay stuck in survival or open into transformation. When you breathe unconsciously, short, shallow, and fast, you reinforce the energetic signature of the old self. You're communicating fear, urgency, and contraction, but when you shift into deep, rhythmic, intentional breath, something ancient wakes up. You begin to send a new frequency into the body, one that tells the subconscious, it's safe to let go. And in that space of safety, identity patterns start to melt like ice under sunlight. The breath bypasses the ego's resistance. You don't need to think your way into transformation. You can breathe your way in. With every conscious breath, you create a neurochemical cascade, lowering cortisol, activating the parasympathetic system, and opening the doorway to brainwave states where the subconscious becomes reprogrammable. It's in this altered state that the breath becomes a sculptor, reshaping your identity from the inside out. This isn't just metaphor. Neuroscience confirms what mystics have long known. Your breathing patterns are directly linked to your emotional states, your thoughts, and even your sense of self. By changing your breath, you change your energy. By changing your energy, you change your life. It's that simple and that profound. So if you want to erase the old self, don't look outside. Don't chase another external fix. Close your eyes, tune in, and breathe with the awareness that you're not just inhaling oxygen, you're inhaling possibility. You're speaking directly to the subconscious in the only language it truly understands. To rewrite the self, you must reach the parts of the mind where identity is encoded, and that means accessing the brain's deeper electrical rhythms. Most of us operate in beta, alert, analytical, often anxious. But the real magic happens in the slower frequencies, alpha and theta. These are the gateways to the subconscious, the portals through which deep programming is stored, and more importantly, where it can be rewritten. Breath is the most direct way to shift brainwave states without external tools. When you slow and deepen your breathing, especially through techniques like box breathing or coherent heart-focused breath, your brain naturally moves into alpha. In this state, your mind quiets, your inner critic fades, and a sense of calm presence emerges. Alpha is the bridge, a balance point between wakefulness and dreaming. It's where old beliefs can be observed without judgment, and new possibilities can begin to take root. Go deeper still, and you enter theta, a dreamlike, hypnotic state usually reserved for REM sleep or deep meditation. This is where the most potent identity work happens. In theta, the subconscious is wide open, receptive and malleable. Memories, emotional patterns, even traumatic imprints can be accessed and gently dissolved. And when paired with intentional breath, theta becomes a sacred space for rewriting the self, layer by layer, breath by breath. What's profound is that you don't need hours of meditation or complex rituals to get there. A few minutes of coherent breathing can begin the shift. Techniques like the 4 to 7 to 8 method or extended exhales can lull the brain into these deeper states within minutes. It's a kind of inner alchemy. Breath guiding brainwaves, brainwaves opening the subconscious, and the subconscious welcoming a new identity. The old self thrives in beta, where fear, doubt, and past stories echo loudly. But the new self, it's born in the quiet, rhythmic spaces between breaths, where brain and body begin to resonate with a new frequency. The question isn't if you can change. It's whether you're willing to breathe deep enough to meet the version of you waiting on the other side. There's a secret encoded in quantum physics, a mystery that ancient mystics have whispered about for millennia. It's called the observer effect. Simply put, the act of observing reality changes it. The observer is not separate from the outcome. It shapes the outcome. And here's the twist. Your breath isn't just keeping you alive, it's anchoring your awareness, moment by moment, into the role of the observer. And once you become the observer of your own identity, you are no longer imprisoned by it. The old self survives through unconscious repetition, reactions, habits, emotions, replaying themselves like a looped film reel. But the moment you pause, tune into your breath, and simply watch, you introduce space between stimulus and response. That space is consciousness. That space is choice. And within that sacred pause, the entire identity structure can begin to shift. Breath is the tool that makes this shift accessible. Try it. Breathe in slowly. Hold. Exhale fully. And instead of reacting, just observe. Observe the thoughts that arise. Observe the emotions clinging to identity. Watch the ego scramble to define you, and then ask, who is it that's watching all this? That's the true self. That's the unconditioned observer, the field of awareness from which all transformation begins. The power here is immense, As the observer, you are no longer bound by the past. You are no longer the wounded child, the failed dreamer, the anxious mind. You are the sculptor, the dreamer, the quantum participant shaping your own reality. And each breath is like a chisel in your hand, carving away what no longer serves. In this space of observation, the breath becomes more than air. It becomes a mirror. It reflects your current frequency while simultaneously offering you the power to raise it. And every time you choose to breathe consciously, you choose to step out of the old script and into the mystery of who you really are. Not who you've been, but who you're becoming. Long before modern psychology and neuroscience, ancient mystics discovered a secret hidden in the rhythm of the breath. They realized that breath wasn't just a tool for survival, it was a key to altering consciousness, purifying the body's energy system, and rewriting the stories etched into the subconscious. One of the most powerful of these techniques is Kumbhaka, the art of breath retention. Simple, subtle, and often misunderstood, this practice has the power to collapse the vibrational field of the old self and plant the seeds of the new. Here's how it works. When you inhale deeply and hold, something incredible begins to happen. The mind stills, the nervous system pauses, time feels suspended. In this moment of breathlessness, the energetic momentum of the old identity falters. You're no longer reinforcing the loop, you're interrupting it. And when you exhale slowly, you're releasing not just air, but patterns, memories, emotions, anything that's not aligned with your higher self. But it's not about force, it's about presence. The trick is to combine the breath hold with clear inner intention. While in retention, you visualize the old pattern dissolving, fading like smoke. You affirm a new belief. You imprint a new vibration. You're not just thinking a new thought, you're embedding it deep into your nervous system and energy field. This is quantum reprogramming in its most elegant form. Kumbhaka isn't just yogic, it's neurological and vibrational. Research shows that brief breath retention balances the hemispheres of the brain, enhances gamma wave coherence, and deepens parasympathetic dominance. These are the conditions where real change happens, not from the mind, but from the field. And it's all triggered by a few seconds of stillness within the breath. So next time you catch yourself spiraling into old patterns, stop, inhale, hold, feel, then let it go. Slowly, deliberately. Know that in that small act, you're participating in an ancient ritual, a sacred reset button coded into your biology. With each round, you erase a piece of the old self and make room for the magnificent being waiting to emerge. Emotions are energy in motion. But when they're repressed, denied, or unprocessed, they stagnate, forming energetic blocks that trap us in the identity of the old self. Guilt, fear, resentment, shame. These are not just feelings. They're vibrational programs that shape how reality responds to us. The magic, though, is this. Breath is the most powerful transmuter of energy. It doesn't suppress emotion, it transforms it. Through conscious breath, we become emotional alchemists. Have you ever noticed how you breathe when you're angry or anxious? It's shallow, erratic, sometimes held all together. That's because emotions and breath are intimately intertwined. Change one and the other follows. When you intentionally breathe through intense emotions instead of resisting them, you create movement. You allow the trapped frequency to rise, express, and ultimately release. It's like giving the energy permission to finish its journey. Breath-based emotional release is a sacred ritual. Whether through holotropic breathwork, rebirthing, or even simple cyclical breathing, the goal is the same: to enter into the feeling, not from the mind, but from the body. Let the breath act as a wave, carrying the old frequency up and out. Sobs may come, shakes may happen, but these are signs of release, proof that the old self is shedding its skin. And what's left behind is spaciousness, clarity, a feeling of lightness, as though you've dropped invisible weights you didn't even know you were carrying. In that space, a new emotional signature can be imprinted, one of peace, self-trust, and inner power. This is how breath turns suffering into strength, not by avoiding the shadow, but by breathing through it until it becomes light. Each exhale is an invitation. Let it go, it whispers. Let go of the shame that's not yours. Let go of the fear inherited from generations past. Let go of the guilt, the judgment, the regret, and on the inhale, welcome something new, compassion, courage, wholeness. Through breath, we don't just feel better, we become new people, vibrating at a new emotional frequency that reality cannot ignore. You are not a static being, you are a frequency in flux, a waveform constantly collapsing into form through the choices you make and the energy you embody. If the old self is a loop of past vibrations, then the future self is a signal, a new frequency, already vibrating in the quantum field, waiting for you to align with it. And one of the most potent ways to tune into that frequency is by breathing as if you are already that version of you. This is not imagination for imagination's sake, it's vibrational embodiment. When you breathe with the posture, rhythm, and emotion of your future self, calm, confident, expanded, you begin sending new instructions to your nervous system. Your body says, "This is who we are now." Your brain floods with neurochemicals that match the signal, and the quantum field, governed by the law of vibration, begins rearranging to mirror that new identity. Try this. Close your eyes. Picture the highest version of yourself, not some unreachable fantasy, but the one who already exists beyond your current limitations. What does their breath feel like? Is it deeper, slower, more grounded? Now breathe as them. With each inhale, receive their courage. With each exhale, let go of what no longer fits. This isn't performance, it's resonance. You're matching your biology to your destiny. This practice shifts you from hoping into knowing, from seeking into being. You're not waiting for transformation, you're breathing it into existence. And in doing so, the old self loses its grip. Because no matter how strong your past has been, the frequency of your future is stronger if you tune into it often enough. Breathing into the future self is not escapism, it's frequency alignment. And when done consistently, it becomes a portal, one that bridges time, rewrites identity, and accelerates the manifestation of a life that reflects who you truly are. Transformation isn't just a moment, it's a practice. The breath trick that erases the old self isn't a one-time reset button. It's a daily ritual, a spiritual hygiene, a recalibration of your frequency that becomes your new way of being. Integration is where the magic roots itself. It's how the new identity blueprint becomes embodied, stable, and unshakable in the face of life's storms. Start simple. Upon waking, take 3 deep, conscious breaths before even opening your eyes. Use that moment between sleep and wakefulness, when the subconscious is still soft, to program your vibration. Visualize yourself as already aligned with your new self. Breathe in that version's frequency. Let it fill your body. This is how you begin the day as the architect, not the automaton. Throughout the day, build mini breath rituals. Before meetings, during emotional triggers, or while in nature. Pause. Breathe intentionally. Use the breath not to escape the moment, but to re-enter it from a higher state of consciousness. Each breath becomes a tuning fork, recalibrating your nervous system back to truth, back to power, back to presence. Before bed, close the loop. Lay down. Inhale fully. Hold. Exhale slowly, and as you breathe, give gratitude, not just for what happened, but for who you are becoming. Let the breath be a bridge into sleep, where the subconscious will begin encoding your chosen identity deeper and deeper. Night becomes transformation, not just rest. This is how the old self is erased, not through dramatic awakenings, but through sacred repetition. The breath becomes your mentor, your medicine, your mirror. And as you return to it, day after day, you find that the past no longer fits. The old identity feels foreign because your frequency has changed and your life begins to match. Remember, the version of you that you dream of isn't in the future. It's encoded in your breath right now. All you have to do is breathe it into being. You've now been given the code, the breath as key, the present moment as portal. What you do with it determines everything. Will you slip back into the patterns of the old self, drawn by the gravity of familiarity, or will you rise, breath by breath, into the mystery of who you were always meant to be? This isn't about becoming something new. It's about remembering what's already within you. Underneath the fear, beneath the story, beyond the noise, there is a version of you so free, so clear, so powerful. It only needs your breath to awaken. So the next time doubt creeps in, or the past tries to pull you back, don't resist, just pause and breathe. Because every inhale is an activation, every exhale, a letting go. And within that rhythm lives your liberation. If this message stirred something deep within you, like the echo of a truth you almost forgot, then subscribe, and stay with us on this journey. The awakening is only just beginning, and your next reality is only one breath away.